What is up, my friends? You are very welcome along to our match reaction here on Anfield Agenda after a finish Spurs 1, Liverpool 0 in the first leg of the League Cup semi-final. Lots to speak about from the game. We're going to talk about the shocking performance from Liverpool tonight, which was nowhere near acceptable. Off the back of another shocking performance against Manchester United, which was also nowhere near acceptable. We're going to be asking what on earth we're going to do to stop this, what we're going to do to be proactive in the January market, and of course, we're going to have a chat about that refereeing decision as well. I'm not going to mention the penalty on Jones in the end, because it is what it is, but I think it's very fair and valid to just point to the fact that that refereeing decision to not give the second yellow card, whether you like Liverpool, hate Liverpool, or think anything in between, you know in your heart to heart it was a yellow card. You know the kid should have been off the pitch. And I guess for us what sucks is Costas was off getting treatment, and then the same player that should have been off scores the goal. But you got to talk about this. We deserved nothing from the game. Let's be fair about that. We were terrible. And that's more concerning to me than losing a game 1-0 there in the first leg of the semi, because every season we go through the same stuff. Every season we go through the same heartache with these owners. And every season we're stuck in the January window looking at a potential injury catastrophe and a wobble, and our owners don't give a damn enough to do anything about it. Jordan Hunnable said, didn't do enough to win the game, done by the ref at Spurs again, massive game in the Premier League next. Oh mate, look, 100% agree, did nothing to deserve to win that game. I've got no argument on that front whatsoever. It was a shocking performance from start to finish, and it didn't matter once we made the changes. We were wasteful in the final third. And that's kind of where the focus should be here. You know, any singular game and refereeing decision, we'll talk about it again. Where he's cracking up. Who's cracking up? Are you, like, I know people want to come in and laugh and want to come in and think I'm losing the shit, but I'm not, as you can clearly see. So I don't know who's cracking up. Just admit you're a dickhead and move on. I'm here talking about the actual game. Anyway, to get back to some sense of reality, yeah, Arne has to look at this and think, we need some changing. We need some freshening up. We need to bring in some bodies, because that's an unacceptable performance to back up an unacceptable performance against Manchester United as well. Tom said, what a crap performance by the referee. 2 blatant penalties, decisions missed, and a blatant red card. The only one that I'm concerned about and annoyed about was the red card one, of course, because that wasn't even debatable. You know, I'll give you my honest view on it, and I have to say, I thought Diaz dived for the first yellow card. I don't think Bergvale should have gotten the yellow for that. I've said it at the time. You can go back and watch during the game, and I'm saying it now. But that doesn't mean that the ref can re-referee the game. He's given him the yellow card, and he clearly fouls Costas because the ref waves an advantage on, and then he doesn't go back to book him. And that's just not doing your job. And whether you hate Liverpool or want to laugh with us or not, that's just not doing your job. And a draw probably would have masked over our own deficiencies in that game, and we were shocking. But let's be honest about this. You're all part of the football and fraternity and family. You all should want and deserve better from the referees that you see week in and week out, whether you're a United fan, Chelsea fan, Liverpool fan, Spurs fan, or anybody else. And to laugh and mock about it just gives them the fuel and ammunition to allow this shit to continue on. I've been saying it for 4 years now, and some people just don't seem to want to talk about it. But by coming in and piling on to Liverpool and having a laugh with us, I get it. I understand your point. But it's going to happen over and over again. And if these referees are empowered to get away with this shit, it's going to just ruin the product all around. It's us this week. It'll be you next week. It'll be someone else the week after. And it just becomes galling and tiring, because it's not a difficult decision. It's not hard to do the right thing, and they didn't. And however you want to react after that, that's up to you. But let's be frank about it. The referee shit the bed again, and it's difficult when it's the second time inside that stadium that it's happened to us. But I guess people that don't like Liverpool are going to just come in and just laugh at it because they don't really care about the game in the big scheme of things, which again is everyone's own personal business. Why is Salah never withdrawn? Gakpo was better. Yep, I said to you I would have I would have... Oh, sorry, that was a different super chat. My apologies. I'll get back to yours in a second, mate. Where's the one I was trying to bring up? Sorry. That one is what I was trying to bring up. Sorry. The fact they had the nerve to book Air, lads. I know. Sipka Hulshov goes in the book for telling the referee that he didn't do his job. I know. This is it. There's no accountability for the referees or anything, but everybody else gets held to this moral standard that nobody else can apparently expect of the referees. Stevie Boy said, need some incomings urgently in January. I know. I agree, mate. But you're going to get the old hold your nerve bollocks that we get every year from the sycophants that defend FSG's ownership of the club. Christian said, I'm getting flashbacks, hoping for the best. You'll never walk alone. I don't see FSG doing anything in the transfer market. Look, referee decision aside from today, let's be honest about it and say we were terrible. And that concerns me more than another terrible refereeing decision, which I'm almost expecting in the PGMOL. So my concern is at our form and us not being good enough. And as you've said, there's great shouts there as to why Salah stayed on the pitch when he looked tired. I get you always think that, Salah's that man and can make something happen and change, but what we lacked today at times was intensity and energy. And you've got a Chiesa there who hasn't played many minutes. Give him a run for the last 10 or 15 at least. Why is Salah not withdrawn? Gakpo was better. Well, as I was just touching on, my man, I don't know, because Mo looked a little bit leggy, which again is understandable with the amount of football he's played, but I don't know why the manager doesn't make certain decisions and why he does, but I thought Trent did okay when he came on, to be fair to him. I certainly thought we looked more dangerous when Trent was on. He was unlucky not to score, put in some decent deliveries. So, yeah, better from Trent than I'd seen against United anyway. Cahill said, hey Craig, hope you're doing well. 1, where the hell is Chiesa? Give him a chance. And 2, where's the money, John? We weren't good enough. Well, look, I'm recording a transfer video at about 11 o'clock, so that'll be coming out late, and I'll cover all of that stuff. With regards to Chiesa, it's Elliott that frustrates me. Why is he not giving Elliott chances? Elliott has shown in games like that where maybe we're not able to figure out a way to pass our way through or whatever. He has a bit of guile and a bit of enthusiasm that would at least inject some energy into it. And let me say this about Luis Diaz. He was a disgrace. He dived twice. And I got to call that out. Because I know he's one of our boys. And I love him. And he's a brilliant player. But he blatantly dived twice in that game. And I don't like seeing it. Because it's trying to cheat and win cheap penalty kicks. The first yellow for Bergvale, I thought he rode the challenge and then jumped to the ground. And the one he fell down where Pedro Porro was going after him was nothing short of a disgrace. Porro didn't go near him and Diaz threw himself to the ground. Can't lie, you keep switching up on players. Are you an idiot? Honestly, are you an idiot? Really? I keep switching up on players. Or I keep reporting on the game that's just fucking happened and each performance in the game. So if somebody's good one week and bad the next week, I'm going to say yay this week and you were poor that week. You absolute little twat. Game after game now, ball retention seems to be getting worse. Needs to be sorted out instantly. I'm starting to worry. And by the way, I think I'm being calm here with what I'm saying. Genuinely, I don't know how you'd be happy at that performance, as a Liverpool fan, or how you wouldn't want to call it out, because it's backed up after another poor performance against United. So we should be calling out poor performances and asking what the hell is going on. Game after game now, ball retention seems to be getting worse. We need to try sort it out instantly. I'm starting to worry for the league. Fell away after Christmas too often. DF said we were not robbed. No, we were, mate. We were. We didn't deserve to win. But there's no way Bergvall should have been on the pitch. And I don't understand, as a rational person, how you can think otherwise. It's not the reason we lost the game. It's a huge chunk of it. But don't come in here with the barefaced fucking cheek to tell me that wasn't a yellow card. I've been honest all the way through today. I thought the first one shouldn't have been a yellow. Diaz dived, but he gave it, and it can't be taken back. So the second one was clear cut, clear as you like, straightforward yellow card. And if you don't think that that's the correct answer, I don't know what to say or why you're even here to debate it. Just say you're here to laugh at us and move on. But it was a yellow card every day of the week. And what makes it even more infuriating is our boys off the pitch getting treatment for the foul, and the lad who should have been sent off sticks it in the back of the net. And if that isn't being robbed, I don't know what is. But everyone's entitled to their own opinion, no matter how stupid that opinion might be. Anyway, Semelian, and again, Porro had two hands on Diaz's back, and he didn't push him. It's a contact sport, Dave. Look at Virgil every time he defends, or every time he's in one-on-one. And I'm trying to be honest here, Dave. Every time he's in a one-on-one, Virgil has hands on the defender or on the attacker. Every time, without fail. Go and watch it. So Diaz dived. If you don't think he dived, that's on you. Absolutely no problem. But I think Diaz dived, and I think that it was poor to look at. Liverpool players, what's this one? Sorry, I want to just get this one back up. The Liverpool players look leggy today, probably dead from carrying Trent, Robbo, Diaz and Jones last game against United. The midfield was dead. Shame there's not much quality to rotate. It all comes back to the transfer window and not bringing in the bodies that I spoke about. It's easy when we're winning the league and we're ahead. I get it. It's easy to think everything's great and we're flying, and don't be talking about transfers, Craig, or don't be getting negative on it. But it's also really frustrating, right, as Liverpool fans, when we see the same stuff every season. You know, we have a great start, fatigue and tiredness sets in, injuries crop up, we get leggy, and we don't act in the market, and we have the same problem and we fall away. And we talk about it every year, and we discuss it on the channel every year, and we call it out every year, but still the happy clappers come in and tell us all, what are you moaning about? We're top of the league. And I can only keep repeating myself. It's a disgrace that these owners run the club the way they do. And this is the outcome of continuously playing the same players. So until more people get on board and start calling out the cheapness, this is what you're going to get. And don't buy the shit about, I can't improve, there isn't better players out there, and all this other horse shit that we get told. It's nonsense. And it just, again, covers up the cheapness. Which is frustrating, but it is what it is. We know we can turn this around, so we don't need to be dramatic about this. The performance needs to improve. Look, we can turn it around 100%. It's one game of a two-game semi-final. It's only one goal in it. That can absolutely be turned around. But what I would say to you is, Lewis, it's unacceptable to have back-to-back poor performances. It just is. And we were shit against United, and we backed that up with a very poor performance at Spurs. And whatever else happens there today, that's the angering part for me, is that 2 games in a row now, we haven't put it right. We had to concede a goal to get the kick up the arse. Yeah. Oliver said, thoughts on VVD, studs up on Solanke's calf, red. I swear to God I'm not trying to avoid your question, bro. I don't remember the challenge. I'm not trying to get out of giving you an honest answer, I promise you. I genuinely don't know, Oliver. Yeah, I don't, mate, sorry. If I see it back, I'll give you my honest opinion on it, but as of now, I don't remember. It's clear reinforcements are needed. We can't keep playing the same players. What happens when we get to the business end of the season and the competition for multiple trophies? We need options. Exactly, bro. Exactly. This is what we talk about. Fatigue, overplaying. No. Gravenberch shouldn't have been on that pitch tonight. He should have been feet up somewhere, resting up. But because the manager doesn't trust Wataru Endo to play that role, this is what we have. It's Gravenberch or nothing. And so you can't have it. You can't have all your cake and eat all the cake. You have to call this shit out earlier. And this is why we're here, because we don't invest enough in the playing squad. How did Jones last 90 minutes? Where was Elliott? Very fair question. Jones wasn't great today, and I agree with you and everybody else in the chat who's frustrated and angry about a lack of opportunities for Elliott on the pitch. Best league in the world, most watched league in the world, with the poorest referees in the world. Defo need new incomings this month, said David Massett. Again, David, I agree with you, my friend. I want to just fast forward to a Spurs super chat because I don't want to keep this man hanging on. He said, Spurs fan, no hard feelings, love your channel. Absolutely no hard feelings, mate, to Spurs or their fans. You didn't make the referee's decision. If we were in your shoes, I'd have taken the goal as well, my friend. So thank you, Adam, and wish you the best for the rest of the season, mate. And absolutely no hard feelings from me towards you lads whatsoever. It wasn't on you, mate. It was the referee that I have my gripes with, and of course our own higher ups at our club. Right, sorry, I'm going to have to get back through some more chats here. Salah and Gravenberch being overplayed, both absolutely without energy today. Do we have to run our players absolutely to the limit to drop them? Yeah, and we shouldn't have to. Look, I agree with all of you and all of your sentiments so far. I haven't really brought up a comment that I've disagreed with. So everybody's seemingly on the same page. But it's going to come down to, again, putting the pressure on the club. Being outspoken, being vocal, calling for reinforcements. Because it's not because we don't like Arna. It's not because we don't like the boys that are out there playing. It's that, as you've all said, we don't want them running into the ground. We need to keep them fresh and rotate. Jones being horrible, ruined our momentum, plays all game. I thought Elliott would have been subbed in for him. Who was this one from? Liu, 07. I agree. Don't know how Jones stayed on the whole game. Elliott should have been on about 60 minutes minimum for me. Would like to have seen Elliott on. He may have given us more stability in midfield. I agree with Chiesa, said Stargirl. Yeah, the Chiesa one is baffling. You know, Salah looked leggy out there, which is totally understandable. Why not give Chiesa 10 or 15 minutes to see if he can spark something into life or inject a bit of energy or make something happen? I agree. I agree with your comment. Michael said, the fact the player who was meant to be sent off went on to score after injuring Costas and us being out of town waiting for him to be back on. I know. But when you call out these things and you say the obvious clear stuff, the morons just call you salty. Because the morons don't care about the game in general and just want to laugh. And that's okay this week. But they'll want sympathy next week when it happens to them. And when they don't get it and everybody keeps playing the tribalism card on this stuff keeps happening. I've been speaking about it for years. There's been decisions that have baffled me throughout the Premier League. Not even Liverpool related this season. That just haven't been good enough. Rabadan said, I must admit I worry slightly about the Forest game next week. 6 days now to get up to speed. You've every right to be concerned about it. It's going to be a very tough game. Forest are absolutely flying and full of confidence at the minute. Justin Merrifield said, can't keep watching the Curtis Jones performances. I'm not sure if it's just me, but he's bringing nothing. So Curtis Jones, to me, Justin, is one of those players that will have a brilliant game or two and we'll all get drawn back in, and then he'll go disappearing for 3-4 weeks, and then we'll go in on him and he'll have one good game again, and everybody goes in on us for going in on him, and it's rinse and repeat. But I do agree, my friend, a lack of consistency from Curtis Jones is frustrating. And unfortunately, we didn't have the availability of Dominic Szoboszlai today, which makes the fact that Elliott wasn't brought on even more confusing to me. Adam, I've already done your one, my man. This one. So, this is pathetic. The officials were a joke. Liverpool robbed by Spurs again and should be 0-0. It's crazy, Craig. Bergvall should have been sent off. I know. But when you say these obvious things, mate, people say, you've never robbed, never. Of course we were. It doesn't mean we deserved that from the game. We were terrible. And I said that from the off. But, you know, there's only so many times you can see this shit happen, and you're almost laugh at it at this point, like, with the referees. It's so poor. And no doubt there'll be some gobshites on Ref Watch and all defending this nonsense yet again, because football doesn't seem to want to have the hard, honest conversations with itself. It's all very well and good having the refs explaining the decisions to the stadium with VAR, but not doing your job is kind of important as well. We're missing Dom. Our players are starting to look tired. Hopefully we can get a few in the window. I agree, Johnson, mate. But, you know, how do I say this? Regular viewers of our channel will know that I've been calling for the signings for years. And every year the same thing happens to me. People come on and call me deluded because we're top of the league in the first half of the season and we're still in every competition. And people say to me, you're an idiot, you're greedy, you're a lunatic, what are you on about? We're great, we're flying. And I say the same thing every year. Yes, but this has happened over and over again. We'll pick up an injury, players will get fatigued, the season unravels a bit, we don't invest in the squad, and it's rinse and repeat. And here we are again where, look, it hasn't unravelled at this point fully, but you're seeing signs of fatigue, frustration, and still no accountability from Hughes or the owners. I don't know what else I can say about it other than the same stuff I've said all along. They're cheap. They don't give a shit. And I keep saying it, but people keep wanting to have a hard on for the accountants. I don't know what it is about some fans. Jordan, thank you, Jordan, said, we're getting way too comfortable in possession. It takes a goal for us to switch on. It's not good enough. We have to bring in a new left back. I agree, particularly with about us being too comfortable and too arrogant in possession. We got away with a few things in this game, right? Alisson probably should have cost us a goal, and we got away with that twice, by the way, in 5 seconds. Then we had the situation, obviously, with the Solanke goal, which was a close offside, which went in our favour, and that was offside. Still didn't wake us up, still didn't shock the lads into putting in a shift. Then we missed a couple of opportunities ourselves. Then we've got the Bergvale incident. I haven't spoken about the Jones penalty 1 second, by the way. You haven't heard me bring that up once, because I haven't seen enough of it to actually know if there was even a shout for it. But the robbed part for me is purely on that second yellow and the fact that Costas was off getting treatment and we were down to 10 and the same lad scored. I can't be happy about that, can I? As a football or a Liverpool fan. Star Girl said, if we're not getting any new midfielders, then recall by Chechic, Grafenberg's playing too many games. I hope FSG change their mind by new players. See, what you'll get there, Star Girl, is FSG aren't at fault. They empower Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards. They empower them. That's the lovely phrase that they love fucking chucking out there. They empower them to do what, though? Because Hughes has done nothing since he's been at the club other than embarrass us in the transfer market with Zubamendi, not get the contract sorted out, and brief the media that they're holding their nerve till the summer. So yeah, there you go. It is just the first leg of a 2-legged semi-final. There's plenty of time to turn it around, but it's 2 back-to-back poor performances, and that's more frustrating than anything else because it's unacceptable. It just is unacceptable to put in 2 back-to-back performances like that. But we'll be told again, no distractions, nothing's getting in their heads, nothing's distracting them. So why are we getting the shit performances then? Some accountability would be nice here. I'm fed up with these owners, season after season, said Frank Collins. Frank, mate, here's your brother. I'm right with you. And by the way, I've nothing against Spurs or their fans in the chat or anything like that. Look, you've every right to come in and celebrate a victory, and I'm not going to hate on you or anything like that. You know, I've respect for Spurs fans. I said it after we beat you in the league. I went on many forums and Spurs fans were on there saying, congratulations Liverpool, you were the better team. And I said at the time, and I'll say it now, I respected that. So again, this has got nothing to do with Spurs. They didn't make any of these decisions. So I've nothing against Spurs tonight. I'm just frustrated as a Liverpool fan, you know. Yeah. I don't believe there's any trust to the Elon or any truth to the Elon Musk stuff. No, I don't. David said, really poor all around. Shocking at the end. How is he not off? Ref is a joke. 2 poor performances back to back. I agree with everything you've said, mate. I'm more annoyed by the poor performances. I almost expect the referees to be shit. And I always say we got to take it out of the referees' hands, but that performance today was just, I think, lethargic and sloppy are the words I'd use. No excuses, didn't deserve to win. Big wake-up call, the only game we could afford to lose. All must be rested for the FA Cup. Forest is a must-win. I think you've made some very fair points there, mate. Certainly agree with you on the Forest game. It's huge now. massive, massive game. And I don't want to hear any excuses after it, because they've 6 days to rest up and prepare. And if they don't go out there 100 miles an hour and fly into it, then we've got bigger problems to be concerned about. Kelleher should play and Alisson should get a rest. Well, I was surprised that we didn't see Kelleher, because this is usually his competition. I can only assume that Arne will have looked at the FA Cup game and thought maybe you play Kelleher in that one. Yeah. Good thing we've Accrington next to lift morale. Yeah, it is, but I don't know. I'm disappointed, like everybody else tonight. This is where Slot needs to look at himself. He never rotates his players. Elliott deserves to have a chance. Alisson being dodgy recently. I agree on the rotation of the players. Alisson hasn't looked himself, but is still making some good saves, so I've got to be honest about that as well. But it's the lethargy that kind of gets to me from the performance. Yeah, too many people being carried through that 90 minutes. James said, should have Jones have had a pen at the end? I don't know, in all honesty. I've only seen it in real time. I didn't look back at it. I don't want to be talking about that as something that maybe we should or shouldn't have when I don't know. I know what I've seen for the yellow card thing, so I can talk about that. And I've called out Diaz for some dives that I think he made as well. Thoughts on Trent's performance? I think he did okay when he came on. Unlucky not to get himself a goal. A couple of decent crosses. We just, in the final third today, just weren't at it. It doesn't matter who went on, whether it was Salah, whether it was Darwin, Diaz, Gakpo, Jota. Jota looked very messy in the first half. We really need Szoboszlai back. He's a game changer, said Harry. Oh, mate, I agree. He would have certainly been a good option. But everybody in the chat, I'm right with you. The fact that Harvey Elliott did not get minutes on that pitch today, I'm gobsmacked. He should have started, in my opinion, but to not give him any minutes, he's starting to feel like he doesn't trust them. As a fan, obviously, who's not inside the camp, I don't understand it. David Massett said, how much more do you have to put up with FSG? Where's the money, John? Don't have any faith in Hughes or Edwards. I get it, and it's disappointing, mate, and I sympathise with all of you, because I'm heartbroken around the transfer market as well. But what more can I do other than keep calling it out and keep getting ridiculed for it by top Reds? But you're right, you're all right. Most of the stuff I've read in here tonight has been right. Slot's been doing an exceptional job overall, but the substitution choices in the last 2 games have been questionable. Absolutely. Great job so far. But you are right as well. Last couple of games been questionable with some of the decisions on the substitutes. What gets me is, why have Chiesa taken up a squad on the bench, or a place on the bench, if you're not going to trust him or give him a chance? Why? Why bring him in? Why, if he's on the bench, he's fit? And to not give him 15 there when Salah looked exhausted, I don't understand it. I just don't get it. Why are we taking up valuable squad places with players the manager doesn't trust? It's confusing for a club that are so tight with money. Darth Nunes said, we deserve that loss. It's on us. We need to rest our players and give others a chance. Arne needs to stop being scared to play Endo, Chiesa and Harvey. Agree. Look, agree with the poor performance being on us. Not for 1 second going to backtrack on anything about that yellow card, because it was a disgrace. But you're right. The poor performance was on us, and, we got wake-ups. We got to wake up. We should have woken up after the Solanke goal that was ruled out, but we didn't. But you know what really gets me as a Liverpool fan, right? What really, 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 really pisses me off is all this sticking the fingers in the ears from the club, whether it's Arne Slot or anybody else, and saying that it isn't the contracts, they're not a distraction, it isn't in their heads, we don't need recruitment, we're happy with the squad. It's, you and I know it's all bullshit. every second of it, because the contracts are absolutely a distraction. The players have said it themselves. And the trend stuff's going to get worse because it's going on longer and longer. The story about a lack of rotation is, well, if the manager's not using the players that he has at his disposal, the Chiesas and the Elliott, don't tell me that he's happy with the squad when I can see with my own eyes that he's not using players that are there on the bench. And what's the point in having them if he doesn't trust them or doesn't want to bring them on? All these things just don't add up into what we're being told. And too many people take stuff from the club or the manager as gospel and not as playing the role or doing the job of, you know, being professional or whatever you want to say. There's certain things, of course, they can't say publicly, but it doesn't mean that we have to buy the shite that they're peddling. You know, we're allowed to call it out and say, nah, sorry, that's not right. Elliott doesn't start because he doesn't have the strength and pace to build up the ball back consistently. Yeah, but he didn't even get off the bench today, Phoenix, mate, when we needed something to change the game or tried to spark us into life, and he didn't get a look in. Exactly, Craig. Contracts are a huge distraction, not needing signings, excuses, it's being cheap. I think Kanade is taking a bit more time to get back since the injury. Yeah, he was very weak for the goal. Solanke sent him to the shops there, and he just wasn't great. He was too touch tight for the goal and didn't give himself enough space. Tom said, I hate some of our fans criticising some of our players. They do it for tiny mistakes. I get where you're going from, but you also have to be realistic, Tom, and say you can't look at that performance and the United performance and be happy. I mean, I get and respect where you're coming from, but you can't expect fans to be happy when you see performances like that, when we know the level we're capable of playing at. So it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, my friend. Manziel said, if we have Van Dijk and half fit Kanade left, they never signed Matip replacement. I'm worried the downfall has begun. Premier League title seems too far now. It doesn't seem too far. There's no point in overreacting to it in that sense. You're right to be concerned, by the way. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you off in that sense, but let's not go to let's give the title away crap again, because we still have a very healthy lead there. What we should be doing, in my humble opinion now as Liverpool fans, is calling for the signings and the contracts to be sorted quickly. Because at the very least, we can take care of what we can take care of, which is sorting out the contracts, getting the squad harmony back, and adding a few fresh faces in there to give the manager some options. You know, I don't think that's anybody being too unrealistic to ask and expect that to happen. It's only the League Cup and team has league to go. I know, I get it all, but you can't keep excusing poorness either. You can't, mate. I'm sorry, you can't. You can say it's only the League Cup. You can say it was only one performance against United. But, you know, I'm going to push back and say there have been games this season we've won that we haven't played well in either. But we won the games, and that's great. But how many games have we drawn out of the last 10? Too many for my liking. And that, yes, is only our second defeat of the season, and it's not an end of the world defeat, because there is a big second leg to come, and if Spurs beat us in a fair play, they'll be in the final. But it still doesn't take away the concerns fans have about fatigue of players, injuries maybe piling up, and a lack of transfer spend. I don't think anybody asking for them is being unreasonable. Will said, hey Craig, would have liked to have seen Ryan rested tonight and the FA Cup game. Hopefully 6 days will refresh a few players. Big second half of the season. Yeah, I thought Endo would have played the game tonight in defensive mid. I would have played Maka because he had that rest because of his suspension. He had that 10 days off. And I would have went with Elliott as well. Yeah, it was a really poor quality game of football all around from both sides. Matt said, Curtis Jones very lethargic today. Yeah, and, you know, sloppy is the big word for me today, all around. Whether it was the changes that came in or just not on point. And look, we'll be lied to again and told that everything's brilliant and, you know, we're all seeing things that nobody else has apparently seen at the club. But so look, if I could say this, I would say there's probably truth in the middle of all of this. If you're somebody who says, look, don't get too carried away with a loss, there's truth to that. If you're somebody like me that's getting fed up with the same stuff every year and you're getting frustrated at the lack of transfer spend, there's truth to that. But look, there is still plenty to be optimistic about, and I'm certainly not sitting here saying this is the end of the world or anything like it. Just not a great day at the office, but you know, it's been 2 poor days at the office back to back. Is LFC being used by FSG to finance their other clubs? Not that I understand, mate. No. You may talk about maybe attention of funds or interest in it, but I would never accuse them of taking money from our club and putting it elsewhere, because I've never seen evidence to say that that's the case. And this is coming from somebody who doesn't like FSG. Arthur said, our opponents had a need and bought a keeper. Where's the money, John? Our form is starting to drop off as of late. Reinforcements, please. Yep, and I'm going to make that video tonight, my man. Don't worry. It'll be coming out late, but I'm going to have my say on the transfers, and I'm going to go record the player ratings now in a second. But before we do, just a reminder that we were brought to you today with thanks to our amazing sponsors, Manscaped. You can get yourself 20% off and free shipping store-wide at manscaped.com with our code Anfield20. Your Anfield Agenda man of the match was Virgil van Dijk, as voted for by you guys in the chat with over 5,500 votes. Virgil won it with 45%. Still time for you to submit your player ratings if you'd like to, with the link at the top of the chat. And yeah, I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Recording with David Lynch. That video will be out. What's this that Connor sent me? 1 second. Okay, so yeah, I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Much love. Mohammed, let me just bring up your super chat before I finish up, mate, because I don't want to miss it. It seems like Slot is a manager who doesn't like rotation too much. At a team like Liverpool, rotation is key to winning games. Yes, but what gets me, Mohammed, is he doesn't rotate and he doesn't clearly trust some players, but then said that we have a packed squad. Like, these are the things that don't add up to me, mate. Caitlin said, how was that not a second yellow for Bergvall? I don't know. It was. I don't think the first one was a yellow in all honesty, but that was given. You can't then not give the second one because you shit the bed with the first one. So yeah, I don't know is the honest answer. But look, player ratings video coming up in a few minutes, and a news video coming up as well then, so keep an eye out for that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well done to Spurs on their win tonight, and I'll check up with you tomorrow.